In this video series, we'll look at some of the job descriptions and key terms you guys as recruiters may see on a daily basis and still don't know what do they mean. So, for example, today I look at junior SQL developer and the key term is SQL, SQL. Can you see it here? SQL. So let me explain the term right away. So looking at SQL, the term actually means a structured query language. So it's SQL, but it's pronounced as SQL. SQL, okay? It's not MySQL, the database. It's not MySQL, but it's MySQL. Okay, SQL is the structured query language, and it is used in relational databases mostly. So a database is a collection of tables, right? So you have here one table with rows and columns, and say you want to extract data from that table. And this table could be, for example, customers. Okay, so this is a table with customers, and you have 10,000 customers, and you are supposed to select say those customers who have purchased your product within the last 30 days, and you want to order them by the amount of their purchase, the amount of money spent. Say here you have 10,000 customers from 1 to 10,000, and you need to have a way to extract this data, right? So that's what the structured query language is great for. It's not really a programming language, it's a query language. That's why the Q here, okay? Structured query language. And the use case could also be a user coming to your application, using the application to access some data. So the data could be here in this database. So this is a database with customers. So inside the database, there are lots of tables like this one. This is a database. A database is a collection of tables, okay? One of the tables is customers, like this one, okay? So this is a table with the customers' data. And the user opens an application. It could be a browser, it could be an application, reaches a server. So this is an application server. This is application programming interface. You know, there's some API here. This is application server, app server. So from user through the application server to a database. And now you want to pull the data from the customer's table using the structured query language. So this is what the developer would write. He would or she would write select, for example, name, because you want to know the name of the customers. Select name from customers table where, for example, I don't know, where activity or where last purchase was within the 7 days, you know, whatever condition you want to apply, and then order by, say, amount of dollars spent or euros, and then limit, say you want to see only top 10 customers. Okay, so this is how you would construct the query using the structured query language. You know, it's structured because it clearly defines what it should start with, how it should write this from, what should be next, what should be at the end. So that's why it has a clear structure. It's a structured query language. You don't just query the data. Using SQL, you can also adjust, you could modify the data in a database. So you could, for example, update some of the rows here. So say you want to update this row with, for example, ID number 4. So you would, a developer would write an update query. So for example, update customers table set, and then what value should be set, for example, here. So set, name equals Joseph, where ID equals 4. Okay, so that's how developers use the structured query language to either query data from database or modify the data in a database. That's how it's structured. So it's a very simple language. In fact, it's not really a programming language. It's a query language. There are some extensions on top of it, like PL SQL, which could be used to build procedures. So procedures are some functions that enable these queries to be encapsulated and run sort of automatically in a database. I'll not go further to confuse you. I just want to show you that SQL is a structured query language, and PL SQL could be used as a programming language to build something more with SQL. The PL SQL is usually used in a data warehouse, where they often migrate data from one database to another, from one table to another. They extract data, they transform data, and that's why PL SQL is important. Okay, but for the purpose of this discussion, they, for example, were looking for a junior SQL developer who is unlikely to be using PL SQL. He or she just needs to know the basic syntax, how to select data, how to update data. And you can see also here that the knowledge needed includes MySQL. So I'll just type it here, MySQL. This is the database, the particular database. In another video, we talk about the differences between relational and non-relational databases. I walk you through some of these examples like MySQL, Postgres, or Oracle, etc. Okay, so MySQL is a relational databases. It's one of those relational databases. Relational databases use SQL. Non-relational databases don't use SQL, structured query language. Okay, so this is everything the junior developer needed to know. There is not much written here because, well, in fact, this is a very straightforward role. You need someone who is able to write a simple query. Obviously, the queries can be much more difficult. I show you the simplest example here. If anything is not clear, please go ahead and ask me questions below this video. With that, I'll wrap it up. I encourage you to share this video with your colleagues, with your friends, so they also learn what are the differences between some of the languages like SQL and PL SQL. In another videos, they will learn the differences between relational, non-relational databases. So please go ahead and subscribe for our channel on YouTube to learn how to become a great technical recruiter.